With Newcomen's invention, water is made to vaporize in a boiler. The steam is fed into a cylinder. The pressure from the steam and the weight of the pump rods on the other side of the beam slowly force a piston in the cylinder upwards. The steam supply is now cut off and cold water sprayed into the cylinder. The steam condenses and its volume decreases abruptly. This creates negative pressure in the cylinder and, because of the atmospheric pressure acting from above, the piston moves back down into its original position. The water that is collected in the cylinder is drawn off and the process starts again. For many years, steam engines were used primarily for operating pumps. At the start of his process, the piston is at the bottom of the cylinder. When steam is introduced under the piston, this subjects it to pressure. As with Newcomen's machine, the pressure from the steam and the weight of the pump rods force the piston upwards. Now the steam supply is cut off and a pipe leading into the second cylinder, the condenser, is opened. In this case too, the cooling of the steam creates negative pressure, which, together with the atmospheric pressure, forces the piston back down. The pipe connecting the cylinder with the condenser is then closed off again and the steam valve opened. The process can now be repeated without the steam cylinder having to cool down. In 17th, he achieved this with his double-acting steam engine. First of all, steam flows into the cylinder and forces the piston downwards. Watt's idea was that when the piston is at the bottom of its stroke, steam pressure could also be used to force it back up. To achieve this, the steam supply is cut off at the top and opened up at the bottom of the cylinder. Steam now flows into the cylinder from below and forces the piston back up. And to prevent steam at the top from impeding the upward movement, the steam supply there is cut off and the connection to the condenser opened. When the piston is at the top of its stroke, the process begins again. The steam supply is opened at the top of the cylinder and shut off at the bottom. At the same time, the connection to the condenser for the superfluous steam is opened. With this technique, Watt was able to utilize both piston movements upwards and downwards to achieve a vast improvement in efficiency.